You almost had me, but I stopped falling a long time ago.
Boy, those are military issue. Where did you serve?
82nd Airborne. 3 tours, Helmand, Kandahar, Kabul.
My brother, Marines, Iraq, Fallujah. He never made it home.
Here. Take this, man. It's the least I can do.
What would you do if someone tried to humiliate you in public?
I don't
One
need
homeless
charity.
veteran kept his composure when a
I need
biker
a
attempted to
chance.
trip him on a busy street. But what happened next left everyone speechless. This man's military boots told a story that would change everything and teach a bully the lesson of his life. Stay with me, because what unfolds will restore your faith in justice. Marcus Williams sat quietly on the corner of 5th and Main, his weathered cardboard sign resting against his worn duffel bag. The afternoon sun beat down on the sidewalk as countless people rushed past, their eyes carefully avoiding his. Most days blurred together, same spot, same invisible feeling, same struggle. But today was different. Today, the universe had other plans. His clothes were faded and patched, held together by determination and hope that somewhere beneath the layers of hardship, the man he used to be still existed. But if you looked closely, really looked, you'd notice something unusual. His boots. Despite everything else about his appearance, those black military boots were meticulously clean, laced perfectly, shining even through the dust of the streets. Every morning, without fail, Marcus would take a worn cloth from his bag and polish those boots until they gleamed. They weren't just boots, they were a reminder of who he used to be. A reminder of honor, discipline, and a life he once led with pride. A reminder of brothers he'd served with, some who made it home, and some who didn't. The streets had been Marcus's home for 8 months now. After returning from his 3rd tour, he'd struggled with what doctors called PTSD, what he called ghosts that followed him home. Jobs didn't last. Relationships crumbled. The bottle became his worst enemy. But through it all, he kept those boots clean. It was the one piece of dignity he refused to surrender. Across the street, a group of bikers pulled up to a cafe, their motorcycles roaring loud enough to turn heads and rattle windows. Among them was Derek, a man who thrived on attention and had built his reputation on being the toughest guy in any room. He wore his leather jacket like armor, his attitude even thicker. His crew looked up to him, fed off his energy, and lived for moments when Derek would do something outrageous. As his crew settled in, ordering their coffees and laughing loudly, Derek's eyes landed on Marcus. A smirk crept across his face. To Derek, this was just another opportunity to show off, to get some laughs from his friends, to prove he was the alpha. He saw a target, not a human being. He saw entertainment, not someone's son, someone's brother, someone's hero. Watch this, Derek muttered to his buddies, loud enough for them to hear, but quiet enough to seem casual. He started walking toward Marcus, his boots heavy on the pavement, each step deliberate and theatrical. His friends watched with anticipation, knowing Derek's reputation for pulling off stunts that ranged from hilarious to cruel. Marcus noticed the approach, but didn't move. He'd learned long ago that confrontation on the streets rarely ended well for someone in his position. Better to stay still, stay calm, stay invisible. He'd survived combat zones where staying alert meant staying alive, and those instincts never left him. Derek circled around, pretending to look at his phone, setting up his prank, with the precision of someone who'd done this kind of thing before. Other people on the street began to notice, some slowing their pace, sensing something was about to happen. As Marcus shifted to stand up, gathering his bag with the careful movements of someone whose body carried the weight of years and wars, Derek made his move, extending his foot right in Marcus's path. It was meant to be humiliating, a cheap laugh at someone else's expense, a viral moment for the ages. His friends already had their phones out, ready to record the homeless guy taking a fall. But something unexpected happened, something that would change everything. Marcus saw it coming. In a split second, with reflexes that caught Derek completely off guard, Marcus sidestepped smoothly, like a trained dancer avoiding a clumsy partner, like a soldier dodging danger that civilians couldn't even perceive. The movement was so precise, so controlled, so effortlessly graceful that it was clear this was no ordinary homeless man. This was someone with training, with discipline, with a past that suddenly demanded respect. Derek stumbled forward instead, his momentum carrying him past his intended victim, nearly losing his own balance and dignity in the process. The biker's friends erupted in laughter, but not at Marcus, at Derek. Derek's face flushed red with embarrassment and anger, the heat rising from his collar to his ears. His reputation was taking a hit in front of his entire crew. But before he could say anything, before the rage could fully form into words or actions, his eyes dropped to Marcus's feet. Those boots. Something about them stopped him cold. The shine, the precision of the laces, the way they sat on Marcus's feet with purpose. Derek's own father had served. He knew military boots when he saw them. Where did you serve? The question came out before Derek could stop himself. The mockery drained from his voice like water through a broken dam. replaced by something else, recognition, maybe even respect, definitely curiosity. The atmosphere shifted immediately. His friends stopped laughing. The people who had gathered to watch a spectacle suddenly realized they were witnessing something entirely different. Marcus met his eyes for the first time, really looked at him, and in that moment, Derek saw something he hadn't noticed before. This wasn't a broken man. This was a warrior who'd fallen on hard times. There's a difference, a profound one, and Derek suddenly understood it. 82nd Airborne. 3 tours in Afghanistan. Helmand Province, Kandahar, and Kabul. You. The words hung in the air like thunder before a storm. People nearby stopped walking. A woman with shopping bags paused mid-step. A businessman on his phone lowered it slowly. The weight of those words, 82nd Airborne, 3 tours, carried implications that everyone felt, but not everyone understood. Derek's entire demeanor changed in that instant. His shoulders dropped. The aggressive posture melted away like ice under a blowtorch. He looked down at his own feet, then back at Marcus's immaculate military boots. Boots that told a story of service, sacrifice, and struggle beyond anything Derek had faced in his comfortable, civilian life. My brother served. Marines. Second deployment to Iraq. He didn't make it back. Derek's voice cracked slightly, something his friends had never heard before. The tough guy facade shattered completely, revealing the human being underneath. A man carrying his own grief, his own guilt for never serving like his brother had, his own shame for what he'd just attempted to do. Here was a homeless man he'd just tried to humiliate for laughs and social media clout. And this man had given more to this country than Derek could ever imagine. This man had stood in places Derek only saw on news channels, had made sacrifices Derek couldn't comprehend, had earned every ounce of respect that Derek demanded, but had never truly earned himself. Marcus nodded slowly, his expression softening with genuine understanding. He'd lost brothers too. Too many. Their names were etched in his memory, like engravings on a memorial wall. I'm sorry for your loss. He was a hero. They all were. What was his name? Staff Sergeant Michael Patterson. Died in Fallujah, 2006. Derek's eyes glistened. This was not how he'd expected this afternoon to go. What happened next stunned everyone watching. The crowd had grown now. Phones were recording, but not for the reasons Derek had originally intended. Derek reached into his wallet, pulling out several bills, but Marcus raised his hand with quiet dignity. I don't need charity. I need a chance. I need someone to see me as more than this corner, more than this cardboard sign. I need what every man needs. Purpose. Derek paused, the cash still in his hand, and something shifted in his understanding. His brother used to talk about how the military gave him purpose, structure, meaning, how it made him part of something bigger than himself. And here was a man who'd had all that and lost it. Not through any fault of his own, but through circumstances that chewed up veterans and spit them out onto streets across America. Derek made a decision that would change both their lives. I own an auto shop 2 blocks from here. Patterson's Auto Repair, named it after my brother. You clearly have discipline and skills. Those reflexes, that awareness, that's not something you lose. When's the last time you worked on engines? Been a while, Marcus admitted, his voice carrying both hope and hesitation. But I was a mechanic in the Army. Kept Humvees running in the desert when temperatures hit 120 degrees. Kept them running when sand got into everything. Kept them running when parts were scarce and improvisation was the only option. Fixed everything from basic maintenance to combat damage. If it had an engine and wheels, I could make it work. Derek nodded, impressed, and already imagining how someone with those skills could transform his struggling shop. Come by tomorrow morning, 7 sharp. You can start in the workshop. 30 days trial. Show me what you've got, prove you're reliable, and the job is yours permanently. Full benefits, decent wage, and a place where your service means something. Derek pulled out a business card and handed it to Marcus with both hands, a gesture of respect. Then, in front of his entire crew and the growing crowd of onlookers, Derek did something remarkable, something that would be recorded on multiple phones and go viral for all the right reasons. He extended his hand. Marcus gripped it firmly, a handshake between 2 men who, moments ago, were on opposite sides of humanity's divide. Now, they stood as equals. The crowd that had gathered began to applaud, slowly at first, then building into genuine celebration. Derek's friends, who'd come for entertainment and expected cruelty, witnessed something far more powerful: redemption, second chances, and humanity at its finest. 6 months later, Marcus wasn't on that street corner anymore. He was running Derek's workshop, managing a team of 5 mechanics, and had his own apartment. Nothing fancy, but it was his. 4 walls, a roof, a bed, and most importantly, dignity restored. He'd been sober for 5 months, attending meetings regularly, and had reconnected with his sister who he hadn't spoken to in 3 years. Derek had discovered that Marcus wasn't just a skilled mechanic. He was a natural leader, someone who commanded respect through competence and character, not intimidation or volume. The other mechanics looked up to him, learned from him, and the shop's reputation had improved dramatically since Marcus arrived. Customers specifically requested him because he explained things clearly, never upsold services they didn't need, and took pride in every job no matter how small. The 2 men became unlikely friends, their bond forged in that moment of truth on 5th and Main. They had lunch together most days, sometimes talking about the past, more often talking about the future. Derek learned to look beyond appearances, to recognize that everyone has a story worth knowing, worth respecting. He started volunteering at a veterans shelter on weekends, using his resources to help others like Marcus find their way back. Marcus proved that circumstances don't define character. Your actions do, your choices do, your refusal to surrender your dignity does. Those military boots that Marcus kept spotless even in his darkest days, they now sat in a place of honor in his new home, polished weekly, a reminder that dignity isn't about where you sleep. It's about who you are when no one's watching, when you have every excuse to give up but choose not to. Derek's shop became known for hiring veterans, giving second chances, and being a place where respect was earned through work, not demanded through ego. The story spread throughout the community, changing perspectives and opening hearts. What started as a moment of cruelty transformed into a movement of compassion. This story reminds us that we're one moment, one choice away from changing someone's life, or changing our own. Marcus kept his dignity when the world tried to take it. Derek found his humanity when he almost lost it. These moments happen every single day, on street corners and in offices, in schools and in homes. We all have the power to be either the person who trips someone or the person who lifts them up. Choose wisely, because the universe is watching, and karma keeps perfect records. If this story moved you, if it made you think differently about the person you passed on the street today, smash that like button and share it with someone who needs to hear this message. Subscribe because I bring you real stories about real people that'll inspire you to be better, to do better, to be the change this world desperately needs. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever judged someone based on their appearance, only to discover you were completely wrong? Have you ever been on the receiving end of someone's judgment and proved them wrong? Drop your story in the comments below. Let's start a conversation that matters. Let's build a community that sees people, really sees them. Remember, everyone you meet is fighting a battle you know nothing about. That person on the street corner, in the checkout line, driving slowly in front of you, they all have stories, struggles, and dreams. Be kind, always, because one act of kindness, one moment of seeing someone's true worth, can change everything. It changed Marcus's life. It changed Derek's soul. It can change yours too. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and join this family that believes in second chances, redemption, and the power of human connection. See you in the next story.